Farmer Briggs had spent most of his life tending to his sprawling fields and caring for his loyal dog, Max. Each morning, as the sun peeked over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and lavender, Farmer Briggs would find a little surprise waiting for him. Over the years, Max had developed an amusing routine. As soon as the first rays of sunlight hit the farmhouse, he would trot into the yard, tail wagging enthusiastically, with an assortment of toys gently clasped in his mouth. Each day, it was a different selection: an old ball, a squeaky rabbit, a weathered teddy bear, but the one constant was the unmistakable sparkle in Max's eyes. This peculiar habit always brought a smile to Farmer Briggs's face, but it was only after several months that he began to wonder about the origin of these toys. One particularly crisp autumn morning, as the leaves turned to vibrant shades of orange and gold, Farmer Briggs decided it was time to uncover the mystery behind Max's daily deliveries. After setting out a fresh pot of coffee and a hearty breakfast for himself, he donned his old straw hat and grabbed a warm coat, preparing for a day of detective work. With Max by his side, they took a leisurely stroll around the property, making their way toward the edge of the woods that bordered the farm. As they walked, Briggs observed Max's behavior closely. The dog seemed unusually alert, sniffing the air and looking back at him, as if urging him to follow closely. With each step closer to the woods, the air filled with the sound of rustling leaves and the distant chirp of birds. But today it seemed as though the forest was alive with secrets. Passing through a thicket of bush, Farmer Briggs noticed something peculiar: a small, makeshift den of sorts, tucked beneath the roots of an old oak tree. Curious, he crouched down for a closer look. And to his surprise, he found an impressive assortment of toys strewn about in this hidden nook. Chew toys, balls, stuffed animals, and even some shiny refuse that looked like it could only have been the result of a child's toy chest. It was as if he had stumbled upon a treasure trove. But more astonishing was the realization of just how much Max had contributed to this collection. As Farmer Briggs examined the items, he noticed a few of them looked familiar. They were lost toys from the neighborhood children, tossed aside in yards or forgotten in the park. The revelation sparked a warm sense of joy within him. It seemed that Max had become something of a canine Robin Hood, gathering up toys that needed a good home and bringing them back to his own personal sanctuary. For Farmer Briggs, the mystery was no longer about where the toys came from, but rather about the heartwarming mission his four-legged friend had taken on without anyone noticing. Gingerly, Farmer Briggs reached out to examine a tattered elephant plushie and felt a sense of nostalgia wash over him. It reminded him of his granddaughter, Lucy, who once loved playing with it. She had lost it during a visit last summer and had been heartbroken over its absence. The thought of reuniting his granddaughter with her prized possession filled him with delight. He turned to Max, who wagged his tail, nudging him as though urging him to take action. That day, Farmer Briggs decided to gather the bounty of toys Max had collected. With the dog leading the way, they returned to the farmhouse, where he set about cleaning the toys, washing and scrubbing until they looked almost new. He had an idea, a little plan to turn Max's secret stash into a community surprise. The following Sunday, he arranged a small gathering at the farm, inviting families from the neighboring area, particularly those with young children. With the sun shining bright and the air crisp with the promise of autumn, the yard filled with laughter and joy as families came together. Children eagerly ran about, exploring the old barn, while their parents mingled and enjoyed coffee and fresh apple pie, a delightful treat from the season's harvest. As the event unfolded, Farmer Briggs gathered everyone together. Standing with Max by his side, he shared the story of the dog's secret mission to bring joy to the community. He unveiled the treasure trove of toys, presenting each one as if it were a prized gem. The children squealed in delight, eyes lighting up with excitement as they spotted their long-lost favorites among the collection. Laughter echoed as Lucy discovered her cherished elephant, gasping with disbelief before rushing over to hug Max, who seemed to revel in the attention. That day marked the beginning of a new tradition for old Farmer Briggs and his beloved Max. After the initial gathering, they decided to host a monthly toy exchange on the farm. Families could bring gently used toys to share, leaving old treasures for new playmates, while their kids could joyfully reclaim what was lost. The event transformed into a cherished community gathering, bringing neighbors together, fostering friendship and camaraderie, a little patch of happiness created by an old farmer and his resourceful dog. In the end, Max wasn't just a playful companion. He became a symbolic bridge connecting community members, reminding everyone that sometimes the simplest of actions, The act of sharing joy could spark an abundance of love and laughter. Farmer Briggs often stood outside on those sunny mornings, watching as Max darted into the woods, anticipating the next colorful surprise that would grace their doorstep. As the seasons changed and turned, the dog continued his morning ritual, bringing with him the spirit of sharing and the joy that flourished around their little farm, forever reminding old Farmer Briggs that even the smallest among us can have the biggest impact.